All right, y'all. So the YSL trial has been an absolute clown show, man. If y'all didn't peep what happened after the first judge being recused, the second judge, as soon as it was so quick. As soon as they were putting her name up in the media that she was the new judge, they had to put an editor's note on that she was recused from the case because she had a previous deputy that was sneaking contraband, a deputy in her court that had snuck contraband in and sent love letters and had some kind of romantic relationship with a defendant on the case, man. So one judge gone, second judge gone, because she had, and that deputy was arrested and charged. You know what I'm saying? The lines between, in this case that's already been looked at as a reach, if it should even be pushed with the Rico statute, it's just been a mess. So many hiccups and just delays, and you know, it's been insane. But the second judge recused because you got someone from the justice side collaborating with an alleged gang member of a criminal enterprise. You know what I'm saying? Continuing criminal enterprise, racketeering, right? The lines are blurred in a case that's already been blurry. Now we got Judge Sri, and they got Lawyer for Workers, you know, who is kind of become the resident courtroom analyst in the social network blogosphere, breaking it all down.
3 things to say that caught my ear. Let me tell them to you. I'll show you the clips first. She brought up the issue of court transcripts for everything that's happened so far. She says she needs those transcripts. She's going to go to Judge Glanville's reporter. Listen to how long she thinks it's going to take to get them.
I'm going to ask Judge Glanville's court reporter to start working on transcripts because I'm going to need them, but we'll all need them at some point probably. Because just transcribing what's happened so far is going to take months and months.
You heard how she just said she needs those transcripts, and it's going to take months and months for them to be ready. Now stay with me. I'm going to show you a clip where she discusses about the court rulings that have already been made by the prior judge and how she needs to know what those are. But there's a problem. Check it out.
There are, and we will identify all of the ones that we believe exist. There are outstanding there are rulings that have been made long ago by the court that may not have been reduced to writing. We are working towards identifying each of those, as well as putting into a chart for the court a list of the motions and rulings that have previously been entered.
That would be fantastic because while y'all all know what the rulings were, I do not. So yeah, a chart and some further information would be great. That was on my list as well. Thank you.
If I were a judge, I would also laugh out loud at the idea that I'm taking over a trial midway, which is the longest trial in the history of the state of Georgia. The case has been going on for years, and apparently there's a lot of rulings that have been made long ago, and they haven't been put into writing. One other big point the judge covered was this idea of witnesses and how Judge Glanville kind of let the prosecution, I don't know what exactly, but she was like, yo, prosecution and everybody. Before this trial started, and definitely by now, I need a list of witnesses and what they're going to say and why they're relevant. Because if there's like hundreds of witnesses, yeah, that might not fly in my courtroom. There are rules to this game, and you can't put on hundreds of people if they're just talking nonsense or saying the same thing.
But, and I don't expect this right now, but I would like from everybody, to the extent the defense knows whether they're going to present a case or not, a realistic list of witnesses, maybe like what counts they go to and what you expect those witnesses to say generally, broadly, because this case has been going on for a really long time. And there is a rule that lets me exclude cumulative evidence. And I might end up using that. So how about y'all give me a heads up on all of that, okay?
Are you starting to get the sense of how difficult it is going to be for a judge to take over and continue this trial? And that's just some of the basic logistical issues. Then there's the legal arguments, including the big argument from the defense that under Georgia law, if you have a judge who gets recused midway, you have to somehow rewind the trial to avoid any parts of the trial that happened after the misconduct, the mistakes that led to the recusal. What that means, they're saying that this judge messed up a couple days ago, and then he continued the trial. And it wasn't until like a week later that another judge stepped in and said, oh, he's doing it wrong. And so there's a couple of days there that have to be rewound. They should have never happened. There's words that witnesses said that have to go back into the witness's mouth. They also have to come out of the jury's ears. That is a very, very impossible thing to do. And so in certain circumstances, courts will just say, hey, look, mistrial. You can't rewind it. That rewind principle is not a bright line rule. It might apply, it might not apply, kind of depending on how the judge wants to play it. But you take that coupled with all the logistical issues, and I think you get a pretty strong inclination that the defense is sitting pretty.
All right, man. So y'all hear that? This judge, like, can you believe that? You have stuff that wasn't transcribed. Like, isn't that standard in a court, the stenographer or whatever? I always wondered too, y'all ever see there's only like 8 keys on that thing? How the fuck do they make out all those words? I never quite understood that, but there hasn't been basic record keeping. The judge is talking about a realistic witness list. We've seen witnesses come up and plead the fifth and be hostile, and it's just been a cold mess. It's insane, man. And then that whole rewind aspect, which you heard the lawyer for workers individual, right? He's like, that's not necessarily something that has to happen, but it may happen. And I don't know, I was shocked with Judge Glanville being recused in the way that it happened, with the lawyers having to go extra hard to a superior judge to get that pushed through. Right then, I'm like, man, will we see mistrial happen? Second judge, she's gone as soon as she's on, and she had basically a dirty deputy on her squad. Now the third judge is coming in and just, I don't know, it seems, the media is talking about that this Judge Whitaker is determined to keep pushing. But I don't know, man. Comment with your thoughts. Do you see a mistrial on the horizon? Do you think Thugger will be free soon? Let's talk about it below. The clown show in Georgia. That's what they've been calling it, y'all. Tap in, comment. Don't forget to sub up and hit the buttons. It's coffee. I'm out here.